Have you ever wondered why you keep repeating the same patterns? Why you push people away even when all you want is closeness? Why there's this strange ache under the surface, even when life looks okay from the outside? Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, believed there's a reason for this. He called it the shadow, and he said if you never face it, it quietly runs your life. In this video, we're not just talking about psychology. We're talking about your survival, your growth, your transformation, because your darkness isn't the problem. Pretending it's not there is why you feel stuck. Let's start with something honest. Most people aren't living, they're managing emotions they don't understand, managing relationships that feel slightly out of reach, managing anxiety, procrastination, burnout, as if these are just normal parts of adulthood. But beneath all that, there's something deeper, something unspoken. The fear that maybe this is all there is. You've probably felt it at night right before sleep, or when you're alone and the distractions finally quiet down. That's when it creeps in. A subtle sadness, a restlessness you can't name. It's not depression exactly. It's not grief. It's more like emptiness. Carl Jung believed that this emptiness isn't just random. He said it comes from disconnection, not just from others, but from yourself. You've built a personality, a mask, to survive this world. But in doing that, you've buried parts of you that didn't fit. Anger, jealousy, shame, desire, rebellion, sensitivity, vulnerability. And here's the catch. Those parts didn't disappear. They became your shadow. And unless you face it, you'll keep feeling stuck, repeating the same emotional loops, wondering why nothing ever truly changes. This isn't about blaming yourself. This is about reclaiming yourself. Introducing Jung's shadow. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood ideas in all of psychology. When Jung talked about the shadow, he didn't mean something evil. He meant something hidden. The shadow is made of everything you've disowned in yourself. The impulses you were told to suppress, the traits you were punished for expressing, the emotions you learned to deny. Maybe you were told to stop being so sensitive, so now you act tough and detached. But deep down, you feel everything. Maybe you were shamed for being angry, so now you people please. But resentment simmers just beneath the surface. Maybe you learned that love only comes when you perform, so now you're exhausted from pretending to be what everyone else wants. Jung said that whatever we repress doesn't just vanish. It hides, it festers, it grows stronger. And over time, it begins to act out in strange, painful ways. You sabotage relationships you care about. You overreact to things that seem small. You chase people who hurt you, or push away people who see you. All of that is the shadow at work. But here's the paradox. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. Jung believed that the path to true wholeness is not to become perfect, but to become real. And to become real, you have to meet your shadow face to face. What happens when you avoid the shadow? Now let's talk about what happens when you don't. When you avoid your shadow, when you pretend you're only light and love, the darkness doesn't go away. It leaks. Jung warned that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That's exactly what happens when we don't face the shadow. You don't understand why your relationships keep ending the same way. You don't know why you explode in anger at people you love. You don't know why you keep chasing validation from the very people who make you feel small. But all of it is part of an unconscious pattern, a script you're living without realizing it. Here's the dangerous part. If you never look at your shadow, you'll project it onto others. You'll judge people for traits you're afraid to admit you have. You'll resent people who live with a freedom you secretly crave. You'll hate in others what you've never allowed in yourself. That's how war starts. Inside families, inside nations, inside the human soul. Jung didn't just want us to be happier. He wanted us to be whole. Because without facing your shadow, happiness is always temporary. It's borrowed. It's conditional. You don't become powerful by suppressing your pain. You become powerful by understanding it, by making peace with it. How to face it, Jung's real path to growth. So how do you face your shadow? Jung believed that the process starts with honesty, radical, unfiltered honesty. You begin by observing your reactions, noticing what triggers you, noticing where you feel envy, defensiveness, rage, insecurity. These aren't random emotions. They are clues. The people who annoy you the most, they often reflect something unresolved in you. The moments where you feel most ashamed, that's where your inner child still lives, still trying to be loved, still hiding. Shadow work isn't about fixing yourself. It's about uncovering yourself. Here's how you begin. Journal your emotional reactions. Ask, what does this remind me of? Or, when have I felt this before? Notice patterns in your relationships. Who triggers you? Who drains you? What roles do you keep playing? Sit with discomfort. Instead of distracting yourself, get curious about your feelings. Talk to the parts you've rejected. Literally, write to your anger, your fear, your shame. Ask them why they're here. At first, it will feel strange. You'll want to run. You'll tell yourself it's not that deep. But if you stay, if you're gentle and honest, something incredible starts to happen. You begin to reclaim your energy. You stop leaking power into fear, performance, people-pleasing, self-doubt. And for the first time in a long time, you feel whole again. Not perfect. Whole. What it feels like after integration. So what does life look like on the other side? It's not like the pain disappears, but it changes. You stop running from yourself. You stop apologizing for who you are. Your relationships get deeper because you're no longer pretending. You're no longer hiding the parts of you that were once unacceptable. You feel more grounded, less reactive, less trapped in stories about who you're supposed to be. And strangely, you start to feel lighter. Because the weight wasn't life. The weight was all the energy it took to deny your truth. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." That privilege is not earned through perfection. It's earned through integration. When you meet your shadow, not with fear but with curiosity, you take the first step toward becoming whole. Not in a way the world recognizes, but in a way your soul remembers. If this message stirred something in you, don't ignore it. Your shadow has waited long enough. Maybe today is the day you stop trying to fix yourself and start learning to listen. Because the real you isn't missing. The real you is waiting to be seen, heard, held, chosen by you. And if you choose that, if you take even one step toward yourself today, then you've already started healing. Not in the way the world celebrates, but in the quiet, sacred way that changes everything.